Warning: SirRodCast can lead to an array of side effects. Symptoms like nausea, vomiting, explosive diarrhea, sudden distaste for previously loved foods, and an inexplicable headache might emerge, persistently nagging like a bad song stuck in your head. Prolonged SirRodCast exposure, you might find yourself breaking out with rashes, skin blisters or peels, or developing a sudden wheeze, all of which signal a red alert. In such cases, halt all consumption of SirRodCasts and seek immediate medical attention. SirRodCast is not for the faint of heart. Proceed with caution and always keep your healthcare provider on speed dial for any unexpected misadventures.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce you to one of the nation's most exciting entertainers. He is the former creative director for So Deaf Recordings. He has one of the best-selling artist development books, The 10 Commandments of the Stage. All the way from Atlanta, Georgia, put your hands together for the Star Maker, Mr. One-Man Show, Ollie Patterson's baby boy. Give it up for Sir Rod Patterson.
Finally, that's right, your boy, Sir Rod. Welcome to the SirRodCast. It's been a long time coming. Oh, finally. Oh, now, let me explain to you exactly what the SirRodCast is. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I've heard it been said before that some people are just made for certain things, like a hand in glove or peanut butter and jelly, or just some things just go together. This right here, podcast, I was made for this. Over the years, I've been asked to start a podcast, but I never really dove into it. I've heard about it. I've watched and listened to a few. And, I like, self-education, motivational stuff. But I never thought about it for doing one for myself. On my YouTube channel, I realized over the years, I've been doing some podcasty stuff. And so as I thought about it and I dove more into it, this seems to be a natural fit for me. For those of you who don't know me from Adam, my name is Rod Patterson, a.k.a. Sir Rod Patterson. And Sir Rod is a lot of things. I'm the CEO, founder of a company called Sounds of Knowledge. And what Sounds of Knowledge does is we go into high school, middle schools, and elementary schools, and we use music as a tool to get kids' attention. But once we get that attention, we would slip in anti-bullying, anti-drugs, positive messages to the students. And it was a very good thing. Matter of fact, it was so good, we actually stopped a few kids from committing suicide. So that was my passion for many years. And then a little thing, y'all might have heard about it, a little thing called COVID came around, and I kind of put a stop to the school touring thing. And then I started doing something, I became a nurturing artist, a nurturing artist. And what a nurturing artist does is I go into nursing homes, assisted livings, and I do a Motown review for senior citizens and something about the power of music, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I've seen some amazing things over the years going into nursing homes, assisted livings, what the power of music could do to some people. I was doing that for a few years just before COVID hit. I was kind of overlapping that and the school touring thing. Just before COVID hit, I saw a documentary on Netflix by the title of Satan and Adam. And in Satan and Adam, Mr. Satan in the documentary just so happened to be my uncle. I was blown away by this documentary. My uncle played with the band U2 with Bono and The Edge and all those guys. And he played on the streets of New York. He was busking for years, and he partnered with this guy, a gentleman by the name of Adam Gusso. Anyway, long story short, I saw this documentary and was blown away because about a year or so, my uncle was living with our family in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I'm born and raised. And he would tell us these stories about all the people he played with, Al Jarreau and you name it, this person today, James Brown and Ray Charles. And I'm like, sure, Unc. You know, Uncle drinking that liquor sometimes, he just started talking. But I come to find out that his stories was true. So that blew my mind. I reached out to his bandmate who, by the name of Adam Gusso. I shot him an email, and long story short, and I'll get into that in more detail because there's a whole blues side of SirRod. Because now me and Mr. Adam Gusso have a blues band by the name of SirRod and the Blues Doctors. So I'm doing a lot of things. In all my travels, I meet a lot of people. I met so many people. Oh my God. That was one of the motivating factors of why I wanted to start this podcast, because all the interesting people. And another side of me, and I can go on. One of my problems I've always had, and that's why this format is so perfect for me, is I have a lot of talent. A lot of talent. And some people will say, boo-hoo you. But if you think about it, if you play football, if all you do is play football, you can focus all your energy on football. If you play baseball or whatever your gift, your talent, your thing is, you could focus on just that one thing. But if you could do 10 things well or very good, it's hard to pick just one. So, and I hate to let talent go to waste. So it took me many years to figure out how to utilize all these talents: singing, dancing, athletic, and motivational speaking, photography. So I had to take all this talent and figure out how to utilize it. And this podcast, the SirRodCast, helps me to express myself properly. But it's not all about me. Now, let me tell you how this works. SirRod is not going to just do things like everybody else does. No. The SirRodCast is a podcast about nothing and everything at the same time. Yeah, I'm going to say that again. The SirRodCast is a podcast about nothing and everything at the same time. About nothing because we're going to end up discussing a lot of different things, many, many things. And here's why. My co-host is my secret sauce. Yeah. You, my viewing audience, my listening audience, is my secret sauce. And my plans are, we're going to take this journey together. Everything I do going to be dictated by the communications that you guys give me. I'm going to call you guys my family. Everything is going to go through this right here. We got our, for you listening, SirRodCast@gmail.com. Any questions, any show ideas, any guests that you would like, SirRodCast@gmail.com. That brings us to the next segment. Ladies and gentlemen, now it is time for our good news segment. This is the good news segment of the SirRodCast. See, this particular episode is what I'm calling the orientation of the SirRodCast program. And what I'm basically doing is getting you guys the landscape of how my show will be divided and all the different segments and all the different parts and components of the SirRodCast. After this, we're going to flow. And I'll refer everybody back to the orientation episode so we can keep things moving and flowing. But this segment of the program is called Good News. Reason why I call it Good News is because we're only going to be reporting good news. Now, if you want some bad news, there's plenty of places out there where you can get all the bad news you want. There's the CNN Bad News Network. There's the Fox Network Bad News Network. There's your local news outlet, Bad News Network. So we got plenty of places to get bad news. But if you want some good news, this is one of your locations. Example, one of the stories I was going to pull, but I'm not going to get into it, but there was a van that flipped over in Tennessee, and all the bystanders, the pedestrians, the people pulled over, and they all flipped the van over, and and rescued the person. And same thing, something similar happened in Minneapolis. Car crash or van crash, it was on fire. Ran and they pulled the people out and saving lives, risking their own lives. They deserve a round of applause. Good news network right here. So yeah. So that's one of the segments. So we'll be going into good stories. And also, if you have any good news that you would like me to share, right here, SirRodCast@gmail.com. Shoot an email. Share your good news, and I'll try to get it flowing. Because we got plenty of bad news, but good news, few in between. So let's keep them coming. All right, what we got for the next segment? Now, this segment, what I call Nothing Else Better to Do, is when I would bring in guests. And basically, I bring in interesting people that I've ran into over the years. Graphic work. I used to be the creative service director at So Deaf Recordings. And so I meet a lot of interesting entrepreneurs. People will blow your mind. You wouldn't even know of the caliber of people I run into, from politicians to entrepreneurs, from motivational speakers to just straight out hustlers. Also, in the blues world, I meet a lot of interesting people that I'm going to bring on. And we're just going to have a conversation and just expose you to what I call the SirRod world. We're going to have a lot of fun on Nothing Else Better to Do. And then another part of that, if I don't do that, I'm probably going to do those on Tuesdays. And then on Fridays, it'll be just my thoughts. And it'll be kind of a just outlet for me to let this brain of mine just dump some of the stuff I think of. You know, just wonder if you ever think the same thoughts I have, or is it just me? So, but that's on Friday. So that segment will be called Nothing Else Better to Do, or Just My Thoughts. And that will bring us to the next segment of the program.
SirRod, what you're doing? Hey, SirRod, what you doing?
What SirRod's doing? This is What You Doing, SirRod. This is where I tell you where I'm going to be, what I got coming up, what city I'm coming to, I do a lot of stuff, a lot of requests. What I got on the map right now, SirRod will be May 4th, Tucker, Georgia. It's called Tucker's Day. It's a festival in Tucker, Georgia. I'll be hitting the main stage around noonish. I'll be able to give an official time setting on the next podcast, and also on my on the SirRodCast Facebook group. So check that out for official time and date. Next we got I'm going to be doing a private event for Southwest Christian Church. Yeah, it's a private performance. I know some of you guys are watching, so if all the members don't know, let them know that SirRod is coming through, and you think you're going to have a good time. You have no idea. We're going to have a good time. I think they done brought me back. Oh, my God. My third or fourth time? Maybe, about 4 times I think it's been. They just keep bringing me back. So that's the official news locally. Now, I got some news. We're going to be going all the way up to Philadelphia, Jamie's House of Music, and some other place. We're doing a whole East Coast tour coming up with, but that'll be in the blues news section of the program. And speaking of blues news, it's the blues news section of the program. And basically, the blues news section is what SirRod and the Blues Doctors will be doing, or some of my blues followers will let me know about festivals or special events that might interest the general public, and just let us know about the blues world, because I'm heavily involved in it now, and I'm very, very interested in speaking to other blues musicians and blues connoisseurs. So, blues news, SirRodCast@gmail.com. SirRodCast@gmail.com. send me an email. For those of you who send an email, put in the subject Blues News. So that's the Blues News section of the program. That brings us to Numbers Talk. Yeah, Number Talk. This section of the program is what I'm going to, for all intents and purposes, will be kind of like the Zodiac portion of the program. Yeah, Zodiac. And Numbers Talk falls because of the necklace I was wearing. And now, a lot of people don't know this about me. A lot of you do. But I have this chain with 333 on it. And back in the day when I was working at the record label, I would wear this chain. And, you know, most people have crosses and they have symbols and stuff on their name or whatever on their chain. But I had this 333. And people would stop me everywhere and ask me, what does the 333 mean? And so to save time and energy, insanity, I decided to put a little video up on YouTube and to kind of save time. So, you know, if I'm in a rush, I can say, hey, just go to YouTube under SirRod Patterson and what does 333 mean? And bam, a video come up and it explained my whole little 333 story. Well, I put that video up and now about close to 500,000 views later, I realized that there were other people seeing these numbers, and that blew my mind. And over the years, the number seers are constantly reaching out to me, so I could not do a podcast without having a segment about number seeing. And even if you're not into the number seeing, everybody has a lucky number. Yeah. Some people are 1111, and there's 333, there's 222. I've heard people had 42. 777 is another one. So what is your lucky number? Or any number that's kind of significant to you? I'm pretty sure there's a number that probably resonates with you. And if you do have a number that resonates with you and you would like to share your experience of that number with me or the world, SirRodCast@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. Subject title, Numbers Talk. That will be the numbers section of the program. Oh, we're going to talk about a whole lot of stuff. And I'll get more into my story of how this number is so significant to me. This led me to motivational speaking to the kids, graphic arts, Atlanta, Georgia. All this falls under this number. And we're going to get all into that on later episodes. And then other people will share their numbers. I'm pretty sure we're going to get into some numbers talk. So that will be that segment of the program. And this brings us to the final segment of the program on my normal format. And that would be, and this brings us to the final segment of the program, and it is Don't cry. Don't cry. I'll be back next week. Don't cry, baby. Final recap of the program. I'll be going back over what we said. Also, just some final closing thoughts. Listen, this has been a dream. This is a dream come true. And I want to thank you guys for listening in to the very first episode of the SirRodCast. This is 1 out of 100, at least 100. And then we're going to go from there. We see how big it's going to get. But your support, your listening, I got to do the podcast thing. Share this. Bring other folks in that you think might like-minded people. And if they're looking for some bad news, if they're looking for something that just want to make them feel awful, this ain't the place. But if they just want to smile and forget about things for a little bit, you share this with them and like it and do the reviews or whatever, all the stuff that they normally do. Let's make this big. Let's make something positive big. I'm going to be checking my email. SirRodCast, gmail.com. Go ahead. Send it. I'm going to do this twice a week. Tuesdays, Fridays. I'll get the exact time once I get this workflow. This is the very first one. We're only going to get more efficient and faster. At some point, we may add more episodes, but I'm doing a lot of traveling. I'll be seeing you on Tuesdays and Fridays. Listen, I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. But most of all, I want to thank you for listening. Now, go find something else better to do. Get out there in the world. Get in it. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful life. It's a beautiful world. Go get it.